name is Crystal, and this is a presentation on the prompt hierarchy assignment. What is a prompt? We're gonna watch a video on the definition of a prompt that I created earlier. In ABA, we have something called three-term contingency. We have the antecedent stimuli, the behavior, and the consequence. The antecedent is an event that occurs before a behavior. Then the behavior occurs, followed by the consequence that occur after the behavior. For example, the antecedent can be a child saw a bird. The behavior is that he says bird. And the consequence is that his mom says good boy. In this case, it's a praise, which is a positive reinforcement that increases the likelihood of the behavior. And now we have the prompts. Prompts are the antecedent that changes the stimuli control to increase the likelihood of the correct response. It is always given before the targeted behavior, so it's here, so that it gives expectation, directions, and/or hints for the learner to know what to do. For example, back to the example that I talked about, when a child saw a bird, a prompt can be the mom says bird, which is a modeling prompt, and the child repeats bird, and his mom says good boy. So the prompts here ensure that the boy has the correct behavior, says bird, in order to have the praise, which is a positive reinforcement that increases the likelihood of the behavior again. In ABA, there are 6 types of prompting: visual, verbal, gestural, modeling, partial physical, and full physical. We're going to first talk about visual. Visual prompts are cues that are shown to the learner visually so that they know what to do. It can be pictures, text, photos, or videos. For example here, a visual that shows steps of washing hands, which is a visual prompt when teaching a child how to wash his hands. Now we're going to talk about verbal. Verbal prompts provide verbal cues that direct the learner. It can be directly or indirectly. For example here, during a game in which the teacher tries to teach the learner to take turns, she will say your turn to indicate the child's turn, which is a direct verbal prompt. Gestural. Gestural prompts are movements that is used in providing direction for the learner. The movement can be pointing, nodding, looking at a specific place or items, etc. For example here, when teaching a learner to clean the floor with a broom, the teacher will point to an area to show where the learner should clean. Modeling. During the modeling, teacher will demonstrate target behavior in which the learner needs to observe, then copy what the teacher has done. It is important that the learner has already developed imitative skills. For example, he or she should be able to observe the teacher demonstrating the behavior and copy the behavior exactly as demonstrated. Also, the learner should have the component skills needed for the behavior. For example here, before the teacher models on how to tie shoelace, the learner should know how to hold the shoelaces with his fingers and position both hands on the side of the shoes. Then the child will be able to imitate the teacher. We're now going to talk about partial physical. This way of prompting allows more independence compared to the full physical prompt, which I will talk about it later. The teacher will provide minimal physical guidance. So instead of putting the hand on the learner's hand, the teacher will touch his elbow. For example here, when a teacher is teaching a learner on how to write, she will move the learner's elbow to the position of writing. Now we're going to talk about full physical. This is the least independence prompt because it requires the teacher to complete the whole task by having direct physical contact with the learner by moving his hands and body. It is also called hand-over-hand prompting. For example, when a teacher is teaching a learner on how to spread peanut butter on a piece of bread, the teacher will place her hand on the learner's hand and use the knife to spread the bread together. Now we're going to talk about the least to most prompting. This type of prompting starts by using the least assistance, then increase the assistance as needed to complete the task, which is shown in the diagram here. For example, when teaching to wash his hands, which is what we call a chain skills that requires several steps to complete the whole task. The teacher will show a visual of washing hands, a visual prompt. Then say wash hands to him, verbal prompt. Then point to the bathroom to direct him there, gestural prompt. Then the teacher will demonstrate how to wash her hands and use her hands to touch the child's elbow, modeling. Modeling, then partial physical. So that the child's hands will position in the sink. And the teacher will wash her hands together with the child's hands by using the hand over hand technique, full physical prompt. Now we're going to talk about the most to least prompting. This type of prompting allows the learner to increase his independence by gradually removing the assistant. For example, I will use the same example of teaching hand washing. The teacher will start by washing her hands with the child's hands in the sink, which is a hand over hand technique, full physical prompt. Then touch his elbow in position to dry his hands, partial physical. Then as the learner learns the skills, she will fade her prompts by using modeling hand washing for him to imitate. Modeling, so we're going to less prompting. And then the next time she will point to the bathroom for the learner to wash his hands, which is a gestural prompting, and so on. So which one shall we use? Many people might ask the question. The prompt should be tailor-made based on the learner's learning characteristics by using the following steps. First, we should state the skill that is targeted. Then find the way of teaching the skills such as the task directions. Then find out the steps or levels needed to achieve the skill. Finally, we're going to select a type of prompts needed based on the step or level. Thank you for watching.